La-di-da-dee-da-dee-dum-ba-dum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bum, bum, 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 bum. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Rip skipping, rip and skip, rip dip and skip. Someone else's too, but I do not care. Boom, boom. Ba-ba-dum, ba-ba-dum, ba-ba-da-ba-dum. Let me actually write this out properly. Technically, early. Say 30. Well. What I am. Do kind of enjoy my social media feeds sometimes because, like, I'll get just like the most random thing as far as like, but just the random interests is the people I follow have. So like, I'll be honest, I don't follow like Marvel Rivals, right? Like I've played the game, I've had fun with the game. I've played it for maybe a couple hours with friends. The problem that I have with a game like Marvel Rivals is it's 100% dependent on like you having a group of people to play with and have fun with, because just the game itself, like when you're just general, like if you're playing with randoms, they're going to be toxic AF. It's really annoying. But that's kind of the appeal to a game like that, though. For some people, is they don't mind playing in pub lobbies and dealing with people that are either going to be incredibly toxic or excuse me, oh, that's on. Incredibly toxic or just tryhards, right? Like, there's two mindsets when playing a game like Marvel Rivals or Overwatch in the public setting. Is you're practicing. Like, you either got those that are practicing for when they get online with their friends, or there's people that are just fussing around and having a good time. Like, maybe in their friend group, they're always playing the support because they're the best support, so they want to fuss around on, whatever DPS, I think is what they call just your regular run-and gunners. Like, I get it, sometimes it is fun to play class or position you're normally not playing in sports, so I get the appeal to that. But the problem is, I want to play a game to have fun, and I don't have fun playing PvP by myself in that setting. Like, honestly, I don't even really have fun playing it competitively with my friends sometimes. Even like, if I'm gonna play, I want to play to have fun. Like, you miss me with the tryhard stuff. Tryhard time for me was when I was a teenager and in my 20s. Dog, I'm in my 30s now. Like, I'll still throw down if like we're talking like some Halo 3 or like, you know, stuff like that. But that's because that's what Halo is, right? You know, you get in there, you have your fun, you move on. But that is. Sorry, I'm finally like messing around with some of the custom masks I've recently ordered. And one of them is a Mask of Life in Pearl Gold from the Bioforge. That looks tough. That looks really tough. But no, I hope you all are doing well today. Your boy is very, very tired. I've not been sleeping well the last couple days. And I think that's because my body is out of quote-unquote rhythm. Like, I'm getting hungry at times where I normally wouldn't be getting hungry at. So I'm like wanting to, like, I'll be awakened by my stomach growling at me at like 11:30 at night, being like, "Dog, we need to eat." It's like, dude, what do you mean we need to eat? We're in bed now. Yeah. I go ahead and get the stream manager up. Let me go ahead and put on stream. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. We are the itinerary for today is hopefully to kind of get through that little bit of writer's block we got, and then maybe even like finish chapter 2, start chapter 3. We'll see. I'm gonna do this for a little bit and then maybe play some games. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do yet. Thinking is though is that do some writing and then we'll do some gaming. If we're gonna game, it'll probably either be Destiny 2, because my friend group might be getting on to play later on this evening, so I might hop there, get my pre-game on, you know, get the Truth Catalyst knocked out. But if not, I might do some Monster Hunter. I'm not entirely sure. So let's see here. Go ahead and get in the right document. Wish it would let me go to where I left off at. But yeah, I also noticed too that why the playlist kept like just repeating the same 4 songs. Brings in no! Romulus! How we doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Hope things are treating you well today. Hope the house sitting is going well. We missed you last night, our hard carry. But for what I played for, he's throwing more stuff at me. That oh no is so good. I'm so thankful Lime clipped that in the one Lethal Company stream we did. Oh, you've been waiting to throw your balls at me? Romulus, that reminds me, we don't actually have a tennis ball that is explicitly your tennis ball. We need to update Lime's tennis ball. Oh, it ended this morning. Okay. I'm doing well. I'm very tired. I got my cheater energy drink with me right now. To try to stay a little bit awake. I got a really big day tomorrow as far as like what I want to get done is so I need to get a little bit of early start, so I'm kind of hoping I time the having of an energy drink with when I want to go to bed to when I want to wake up ratio. I'm gonna be trying something. Okay. Oh, dude, yeah, writer's block is insufferable. It's not, the problem is like, I do want to write, but the problem that I'm actually running into is I don't know how I want to write the gap. Well, they made trading cards for K-pop Demon Hunter? That's crazy. Makes sense, though. People loved K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't have Netflix, so I haven't watched it. But I just know people crazy. Yeah. That's good. So, I'm looking for... Oh, you know what we hadn't done yet? So, going back over what we've written so far for Chapter 2, it does seem like we have it where Chapter 3 actually opens up with a flashback to how Reagan escaped. So I'm wondering if we want to go this route. But who do we have him team up with? Who do we have him run into? Oh, I appreciate that. I think it's just also a matter of time for me to do that, Romulus. Like, don't get me wrong. I would love to do that. But it's like, the time of day I might have to watch K-pop Demon Hunters is going to be like a really dumb time. So I really do appreciate it. I'm not trying to be like, I actually don't want to watch it. No, it's 100% a matter of time. Like, I still haven't even watched like Spider-Man Noir, the Nick Cage one, on Amazon. And I've had that downloaded for a while. My mustache is getting in my lips and it's driving me up a wall. It would be, yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing about it, too, because correct me, I honestly don't even remember what time zone you're in. I'm Eastern Standard Time, so, like, right now for me, it is 5:25. Yeah, you're a few hours behind me then. California is kind of a nice state. Well, it has nice areas. I don't know if it's like fully nice, but I've never been. Should go someday though. I think I will. I just don't know when. Like, I'm going to Washington for the first time in December. I'm going to Halo Fest. That's gonna be fun. Really looking forward to that. All right, so where we wrote... I don't mind. I do like outdoor trails, but I like them in good weather, not like, hey, you're gonna melt weather. Like, one of the things I did enjoy about living in Tennessee, at least the first couple years I did, was how many different trails we could go to. And like going out to like Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, it was great to go hiking out there. But the problem is, when we went, it had rained, so the ground was really, really nasty and just the trails were very muddy. And what boots I had were my old work boots, which they're steel toes, right? So they're already heavy AF, and just every bit of mud was caking onto them. I was like, okay, yeah, I cannot keep walking in these things, because I didn't have a pair of hiking boots, but I need to get me a pair. But no, it's fun going on hikes or going out in nature. Like when we were kids, we went up to Canada and did a hiking trip in north of Lake Superior. It was a lot of fun. We went backpack trailing and everything. Excuse me. That is an old school RuneScape type beat. Hello, Mr. Yasui. Your name is purple like Romulus, so it took me a second to realize you posted a message here. But hello. How you doing, man? Did you happen to read any of this since the vacation? That's okay. Hey, no worries. It's totally fine. I have done some updates to some of the stuff though, after what we talked about though. So I added in a couple lines to like make it so that like readers were more aware who was talking and not just spam like Dakota said, Emily asked, I went through to kind of like clear up some of that stuff. So I do appreciate that. That was really, really helpful of you. And I'm very, very thankful for you. But yeah. So the only thing though right now that I'm kind of running into is, and this might just need to be something I need to talk with more people that have read, but I'm wondering if my chapters are just too long. I still feel like that's the thing that I have an issue with, but it's like, they're about 20 pages, which I think is a good enough length, but it's still like, is it too much? So taking his first step off into the open air is the most intense. When rushing by his ears was deafening and heart pounding in his chest. This guy. Well, yeah, I know you. But like between you, Boone, you know, Erie and Coyote, you're the other person I know that realistically um would have an input on like flow of chapter, you know what I mean? Gravity pulling on him at uniform measure as his body. I want to make sure this sounds right. Wind rushing by his ears was deafening as the heart pounding in his chest. Oh, I fell through the sky. Gravity pulled. I like pulling. Gravity pulling on him in uniform measure for the small token. The only thing important isn't length, but like separation. Yeah. That's the thing, is like, as you've seen in what I showed you, I do those page breaks. It's almost like I wonder if those page breaks would be better suited as like a chapter change versus a page break. You know? Because it's like, well, it is still pertaining to the thing that's going on. Like, it still needs that little bit of, you know, like the narrative direction, right? Like it's not like, I wonder if there's a way that I could do it where it's more, the narrative direction isn't just like a jump cut. And it might help too if I actually like do like the page timestamp break. Like, I know it's been a while for you since you've read them, but like in the Halo books, you know how like they'll have like the break in the middle of the chapter and then like establish a different time and locale. I'm wondering if that's something I can do to kind of help make it feel more natural versus just like page break and then it's the next thing, right? Like, I know you haven't read it yet, but like if we go to where it's talking about the wooden alcove, between him leaving Gregor, the half orc, and going to the wooden alcove, there's a page break there. It's one of those things where it's like maybe that one would be better suited as a new chapter change, whereas it still works as being part of the same chapter because it's the throughput of the chapter's arc. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about it. It is all highly situational. I think that's one of those things where it's like, you know, having an editor read over it and be like, okay, if this is how you want this to go, because like you don't want to have every chapter being the same page length, right? You don't want them all to be exactly 20 pages or whatever, you know. There can be some take and give. It's a matter of like what you deliver in the chapter, you know. Like if you have a 30-page chapter and it's just a giant nothing burger, that doesn't feel good. But if you have a 15-page chapter and it's an entire fight sequence, you know, and it's like a continuous thing, it feels pretty good. So it's a balance, and it's just something I need to learn how to do. Because like this right here, the biggest thing that I've had an issue with, because like in this chapter, these last two chapters, it does make sense to have like Reagan's POV, because we're having it build up to him and Dakota running into each other again. So it's like by chapter 3, that's what I'm thinking too, is if I just write it out and then go back through and be like, okay, this feels like better here, this feels better there. Like there's some obvious things that are going to be chapter breaks, right? Like if I change POV to Emily, and she's doing nothing pertaining to like what's going on with Dakota or what's going on with Reagan, or if I go to Quincy's POV or the judge's POV, that definitely feels like different chapter material. Like if I was to go back to True Leaf, and do something with him at this point, that would need to be a different chapter. But because this is leading into Reagan and Dakota running into each other again, I would need like that feels right to have as a feels right to have as part of the same chapter. But if I go from Dakota, Reagan, True Leaf, like if I'm going between more than two characters, I need to have one of those characters be the next chapter. And the way to do that would be to have, you know, have it be like a new chapter with True Leaf and then another character that would pair with him. Like Gregor. Like if I was to do something in Gregor's POV, which as much as I'm liking the character Gregor, I don't know if I'm ever going to have him be, like have a POV chapter of him, unless it's going to tie into him getting got by Reagan. Right? Taking his first steps off into the open air. Taking his first steps off to the open air was always the most intense, regardless of how many times he'd done it in the past. If it's short enough intervals, you can probably do a POV switch with your... Yeah, that's kind of what it has been with Reagan, for example, right? Like the page break for Reagan with the POV change has always been like 2 pages at most so far. It may be longer in like chapter 1 because there was a couple page breaks, but that was because it was like kind of like the idea behind how I wrote it was you didn't know who the page break was for. You kind of had an idea, and then the second one, the page break leads to, yeah, this is Reagan finally be deciding to get active. Taking his first steps off in the open air was most intense. The one rushing by his ears was deafening as deafening as the heart pounding in his chest while he fell through the sky. Gravity pulling on him in uniform measure before the spell took effect. Gravity was pulling. Started slowly, allowing him to will himself forwards or backwards. Started slowly, allowing him to... Gravity was pulling on him in uniform measure before the spell took. Started slowly. It started slowly. Oh, bearing. Alright, let me read this paragraph. Taking his first step off into the open air was always the most intense, regardless of how many times he'd done this in the past. The wind rushing by his ears was as deafening as the pounding in his chest. As deafening as the heart pounding in his chest while he fell through the sky. Gravity was pulling on him in uniform measure before the spell took effect. As his body grew closer to terminal velocity, the Omni movement spell started slowly. The sensation of weightlessness lingered for a moment. Gravity resettled in his gut. The air seemingly listening to his call as it helped slow his descent briefly before he was able to will himself around. Yeah, I like will as a word because it's like force of will, power of will, but move makes more sense there. He was thankful for his combat visor, or in the wind drying out his eyes. He was thankful for his combat visor for keeping the wind drop from drying out his eyes, which allowed him to keep a better gauge for how far he fell. Dakota then pivoted and swooped back skyward. He floated at the apex of his arch for a moment, enjoying the sensation of being above the clouds before coming to a pause to get his bearings. Dakota was above the aerial traffic level, looking out and around as he hovered there. Yeah, I hope you're doing well today, Mr. Yosui. Hope you had a good week. Low key, this is all spoilers. Well, yeah. But like, that's kind of the fun of writing the story out with everybody. I know where I want the story to go. You don't know where the story's going to go fully. You only have a brief idea. Right? That's kind of the fun of it. Besides, not many people will be able to say that they were there and have their name in the credits of the book. That is something I want to do, is I want to give people credit for ideas. Like, I don't have it on this document, but I do have it on the in the Bible document. Oh, log, bro. I mean, you'll get there. With how you read, I think it'll take you maybe 30 minutes to get up to speed. Unless it's, like, really dense. The thing is, like, I just hope that it's not too dense and full of, like, needless detail. Because, like, one of the things that I do fear about is, like, setting up fake red herrings or like Chekhov's guns that I'm never gonna like come back to and do something with. Like, an example I can give is, you know, the line from the prologue or the foreword where the one lady is meant to meet this guy at 2200 hours. And it's like, am I ever gonna go back to that? I hope so. I just don't know when. Oh, man. I should have had more to eat than just chips and salsa. Yeah, I think that's something that, like, once the book is done, or like these 3 chapters, I'll go back through and just like trim the fat and be like, okay, do I need this much description here? Probably not. Let's clear it out. Do I, like, the one that I will give an excuse for is when you're reading about the apartment, I feel like it's important to still make mention that it's like still very plain. It's not made into a home yet, because it's like they're not planning on living there. It's just living there as long as they have. It's just the convenience of having it. The convenience of not needing to take things off the walls is just how they lived, right? Yes. So that is from Rashira. She's a friend of mine, somebody that I do the repo streams with, her community. She did a subathon as a part of her new model, her new VTubing model that she got. And I didn't read it properly or just didn't realize I had helped that much. But I ended up helping with donos and bits to get to the point where she would do a sketch doodle of something for me. So there were a couple other people in her community that did that. I was one of them. And she's like, hey, what do you want me to draw? And I was like, would you want to try to draw this? And she did. And she normally doesn't draw those kinds of male characters. So she did really, really good with it. But yeah, no. So that is done by Rashira. She does more of like the kind of game she plays is like she'll do like Fields of Mystria. She'll do a lot of Phasmophobia. She'll do like, cozy and sometimes spooky games with people. So Romulus actually is somebody that's been playing Phasmophobia a lot with her recently. So, and like a lot of the people that are here besides you and like other family and friends come from her community. So that reminds me, I never posted that I was going live in her Discord. Oopsie. Oh, you started playing Alien Isolation? I think that game would give me a heart attack. Oh, that's something I could do. I could take a vote for what kind of horror games you guys want me to play in like the fall. I definitely want to go through Dead Space. I really do like Dead Space, as much as I hate jump scares and horror games in general. I mean, Mr. Yuzui can tell you all about it. I'm a big freaking baby when it comes to horror games. Dakota was above the area of traffic, looking out and around as he hovered there, figuring out which directions he needed to go. Should be. Oh, dude, Outlast will make me pee my pants. We did Fear with Swede. Remember that when Swede stayed at our house for like 3 weeks? He played through like BioShock and Fear on the Xbox. That was such a long time ago. was UOU. That was such a fun time. I'm still mad that school wouldn't let us take him in for like 2 weeks. Well, is what it is. We need to dive down below the traffic level to remain inconspicuous as it is not. Yes. For now, he just rolled himself forward and goes. So it should be 3 different tabs for it all. So like tab 1 is the world building notes, tab 2 would be the forward prologue, and then tab 3 is this. On your phone, it should be towards the bottom of the Google document. I'll pull it up on my phone too real quick. Yeah, so like at the bottom, there should be like 4 doc, 3 tabs forward, and then layout, see chapter 1. And I will give you a heads up, the formatting is kind of weird because Google Docs and Microsoft Word is not a one-to-one translation, which I think it would be because it's just a text document, but it's not for whatever reason. Yeah, there you go. If you have any questions, ask. I'll find them. Let me see here. Dakota was... Dakota was absent-mindedly listening in on the postman's comm line. Make sure you wouldn't miss out on the fellow agent. Healed as he flew. So far, it was relatively
manufacturer said now is time for it. Said will be the first of 5 upgrades you'll see for both. So you have a question, but don't know that his gifts are only here to benefit you, help you with your overcoming of past failures. Power. Now me surely in a way we cannot say. You'll know it is us. Keep diligent. For here. The 5 upgrades. I think I'm gonna go back to him thinking about the upgrades. So he got his watch. He got a sword. He got his pistols. He got his rifle. Still needing one more upgrade. All right, buddy. Thank you for stopping in, though. I really do appreciate it. Have fun. I might still be live when you're done reading, but, like, yeah, let me know. Let me know. And let me know if you want to do any gaming, something like that tomorrow. I'd be down to do that. I got some stuff I want to get done, but I plan on waking up early enough in the morning to get that all done without being able to affect any other time. So, have fun. Enjoy your evening. Tell mom and dad I said hi. Give them my love, as always, along with our sis. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be doing D&D till probably next week. I think we're gonna push for D&D next week. I'm gonna pester her to have it be then, because everybody should be back in town by then, right? That's the problem with trying to do D&D as adults, dude. It's so hard to get the time to do it all. Yeah. All right, see you, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Have a good night.
It could have felt like he had an answer to the other 4 upgrades. Other 4 upgrade questions. Great answer to a question. It could have felt like he had an answer to the questions. He had answers. Questions regarding his other 4 upgrades he got. Watch and sword. Power to his watch and sword. Starfall are very self-explanatory, as they would allow him to better deal with the bloodsmith in a fight. As one of the things from their first brawl was that he wasn't equipped enough to deal with it. Pistols and rifles made sense as well, but they were already asked for. But he had already asked for those upgrades. There we go. Sorry, I misread what I had here. The pistols and rifle made sense as well, but he had already asked for those upgrades before the judges gave him the sword and the upgrade to his watch. Yeah, not a... Well, thank you for stopping in, Romulus. Hope dinner goes swimmingly. Not too swimmingly, though. You don't want to eat and be in the water, but I do hope you have fun with your family. Have a good night, my friend. I'll see you when either next time or if you're back before I'm done. Have a good day. See you, Romulus. Very self-explanatory. Heal, pistol, and rifle makes sense as well. Okay, first. I think we don't want this page break here. We do that. Oh. I gotta remember how to get rid of a page break. I don't necessarily want this here anymore.
Always forget how to do this. Alright, fine. We'll just have to do a quick search. Um, like struggling with remembering how to do it. Let me see here. Balls. How do I get rid of this? Always forget. But then I put it down there. No. Here we go. That is not what I wanted. All right, I'm sorry, guys. I'm struggling to remember how to get rid of this stupid. Sorry, Boomer struggles with computer. The home tab borders. I guess we'll just do it that way. So we'll just have to search borders, page borders, and go. There we go. So, if you're to look at this, right, and be like, okay, where is the border? What's the border? But it's this little thing right here. You can barely see it because it's behind lore crafting here. But that stupid little square is what controls the border, which is that line I put in. It's not page break, it's a border. So dumb. Anyways, let's see. A little bit of writing here. I forgot. All right, let me focus back on action figures. Pistols and rifles made sense as well, but they're Dakota was above the area of traffic. Round, see how they're figuring out which direction. Should be able to figure it out simply enough. Might have to dip into the globals first, though. Set it out. This route town because it says. Postman was absentmindedly listening in on the comm line to make sure he wouldn't miss out on any fellow agents. Needed a hand in the field as he flew. So far, it was a relatively peaceful day. Nothing major being called out. No monsters, no criminals, no villains, and nothing about vampires. He couldn't tell if he was annoyed by there being nothing about vampires or if he was just getting bored of flying like he was. Trying to keep his mind from wandering back to his right. Back. He wondered idly if he needed to stop for a moment to let his watch cool off. As he checked his upgraded watch, it showed no sign. Alter. Go to flow. As he had been flying for roughly an hour, Dakota then recalled his message from the judge's representative. He did quick math in his head and realized he had only gotten 4 upgrades. What was the last upgrade he was meant to get? The thought rattled around in his head. Possibilities were near limitless to him. Judges. Possibilities were near limitless to him. What could be? The judges could seemingly do whatever they needed, want. Him still being hand-selected did give him hopes as to what his last upgrade was meant to be. The thought lingered briefly, as then he heard that line in his head, received with question, but no answer. Could have felt he had answers to the questions regarding his other 4 upgrades he got today. The power-up to his watch, the sword, Starfell, were very self-explanatory, as they would allow him to better deal with the Bloodsmith in a fight, as one of the things in their first brawl was that he wasn't equipped enough with him. Pistols and rifles made sense as well. Pistol and rifle made sense as well. But he had already asked for those upgrades before the judges gave him the sword and the watch. Were they not a part of the 5 gifts he was to get? He was thankful for the time to go over this in his mind without being distracted by it. But frustration, overthinking began to. The arsenal upgrades fit within the 5 upgrades, but there's still thought to be had about what else you'd be receiving. Thankful for the time to go over this in his mind without being distracted by it. But the frustration of overthinking into his arsenal upgrades fit within the upgrades. But there is still a thought to be had about what else he'd be receiving. Very over this frustration of overthinking. There was still a thought to be had about what else you could receive. Not dealing with the knowledge that the bloodsmith may very well be a vampire. Got back to what he knew about the stop. Little was known about the hero that fell that vampire. All anyone would ever talk about was how much of a great magic user, how he was then later brought in by the judges and never seen again. Norway is 1-1 with England right now. Dang. Good for whoever you're rooting for. You're also on a 90 streak line? Good grief. My friend, that is insane. Thank you for the 90 streak. Hope you're doing well today, man. I know we talked briefly earlier, but I do hope you're well. I am going to need to use the restroom here shortly. But right now, we're just working on the rest of Chapter 2. I think how I'm going to end Chapter 2 is Reagan is on top of a rooftop, and Dakota sees him and just beelines it for him. That's how I think I'm going to end this chapter. And then Chapter 3... I'm sorry that you're still sick. Have you... I'm assuming you've taken medicine, right, Lime? I'm assuming you have. Or maybe not medicine, but like something to help soothe symptoms. I wondered if the hero then... I guess a lot of it just depends on what symptoms you're having of your cold. I know people tend to take like anti-inflammatories because it helps open up the sinus pathways, but I'm not sure. I'm not educated enough to be able to tell you. But like vitamin C, cutting back on sugar. It also depends on like if it's a bacterial infection or a viral infection that you pulled in the first place. But yeah, sense as the sword he had the same hated. I wouldn't recommend that. That sounds like a really great way to get kidney stones. And you think you're suffering now. Just wait. If you ever get a kidney stone, then you'll know the true meaning of pain. I wish they talked. Oh, it's with a Y, not an I. My bad. I wish they talked about it more at the postman's work while onboarding you. I need Norway. Look, I'm all for England getting its ass kicked, alright? I really am. But I will say I do have a weakness for British girls, though. So, not too hard. Could have wished they talked about it more at the postman's work while onboarding me, as that knowledge of what they can be up against proved to be beneficial to those who mutants. Oh. Hello, Kaito. How you doing today, friend? Was not expecting you to be here. Hope you're doing well. It's okay for England to lose. Ah. Well, I appreciate the lurking. Hope work's going well today. Lurking while working. Very nice. Very good wordplay. Almost chilling like a villain there. Better not be a villain, though. I have to send Dakota upon you. Oh, that's good. So, if you don't mind me asking, when you say longest work day, is it like a 12-hour day, or do you do like what is like a normal hour day for you, and what is a um like a long day? Because like long days for me can be 12 to 16 hours, you know? So, kind of curious about that. Dang, 10-hour shifts? And do you do that like 5 times? Yeah, 16 is brutal. I've only ever done 3 16-hour shifts. But that was the first time I did it ever was when I worked at a diner. I worked from, I can't even remember what time of day. It was early. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning to like midnight or something like that. It was like a Friday when school was getting out. Um, so like it was like all hands needed. It was, I can't remember if it was because like school was getting out or what was the occasion. But it was like a big day for Rosie's Diner. So they had like everyone come in and work like all day. The amount of crap I had to deal with that day was insane. I was so soaked from washing dishes and bussing tables and cleaning the restroom and changing out like the soda syrups for the fountain drinks that I could have swore I gained like 10 pounds just from how waterlogged I was with everything. Because the thing is like doing dishes at Rosie's, that made it really, really frustrating was that they didn't have like waterproof aprons. So the apron you had would just get drenched while doing the dishes because you're in a narrow hallway, like maybe 6 feet in width at most, and you're at a sink that has it's like 2 foot, so you have like 4 foot maneuverability in the back hall, which the back hall on the other side of the dishwasher was where the freezer was at. So it was like a galley chute for the sink, dishwasher, and then the freezer. So if people needed to go in the freezer to get like ice cream or meat, because we had 2 freezers for whatever reason, they would have to go past me to get to it. Well, they can't get wet. So I would basically have to be like huddled up next to the sink doing all these dishes. So like if I remember that day correctly, and it's been a while, so I might not remember it because this was over. Shoot, this is probably close to 2011, so 15 years ago. So yeah, it was like the day I started bussing and doing dishes. And then by the afternoon, I was in the kitchen cooking. So my first half of the day was spent doing dishes and all the other, like, get things ready for the day. And so by the time I'm actually in the kitchen working, I mean, admittedly, looking back on it, it was really freaking gross because I was just covered in, like, dishwater and then cooking. No wonder that place closed. But then, like, working there and then, like, remaking, like, batter for the onion rings or the fish or whatever else have you. By the time I was done, like, my shoes, I think I threw those shoes out after that day. They were so bad. Like, they were already getting closer to the last dregs of, like, being useful as shoes. But they were done after that day. They stunk so bad. But then the other times where I've done like 16-hour shifts have been when I was working 2 jobs, when I was working at Publix and working at Wendy's. I did an opening shift at Publix and then went to close at Wendy's. So I worked 16 hours and I had like 2 hours between the 2 shifts. Another one of those situations where it was like, I wasn't meant to work that late, but there was nobody was coming in because it was about to snow that night. So like a lot of the people that would have been coming in to close didn't come in. And luckily for Wendy's, I say luckily, like I had a choice, but I mean, I realistically did. I didn't have to work at Publix that following day because when I was a baker, right, when I was a baker, I worked from like 4 o'clock in the morning till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then, so I'd have, I'd get out of work, drive home. I should have showered, realistically speaking, but I just refreshened up. I put on like new deodorant. I just wiped myself down with like a dude wipe, like a bathroom tissue. And then like freshened up, brushed my teeth, put on deodorant, did a quick like, well, I was still working, so like it didn't make sense to get too nasty. Because the thing is like, despite how hot the bakery could get, I was never like excessively sweating. So I just never thought to like take a shower. If it was a hotter day, like if it was in the summertime, yeah, I would have taken a shower, but it was winter, so I didn't. So I cleaned up without showering, put on my Wendy's shirt, and then drove to Wendy's, and then worked from like 2:30 till 11 o'clock. So that was a really long day, and that was across both jobs. That day sucked. I wanted to do so much more than just work, but it's the 2-job life for you. And then when I worked at General Motors, I would do 12 hours often. I did it very, very often. And then we went into this thing that we call critical status. Yeah, it was not fun. We went into critical status, which is where we worked 12 days straight, 12-hour days. And we were only originally supposed to do it for like 3 months. Our plant did it for 6 months. And then I basically did it for another 3 months because there was just not enough people to work 3 shifts. So they would force over people to work 12-hour days, and that was by seniority. So lowest seniority people got this crap end of the stick. So I did a lot of 12-hour days in my first year or so of working at General Motors. And then recently I ended up doing a double here because I needed the extra money. Truck was in the shop. So it's like, well, I need the money, so I'm gonna do a double. So I went from 2:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. Boy, howdy, let me tell you, that sucked. I think I ended up throwing away all those all the pieces of clothing I was wearing that day because they were just so gross with sweat and engine grease. And the crazy thing is, people do that all the time at General Motors. I don't get it. They'll work 16-hour days like it's nothing. Like, there'll be a third shifter that came in 10:30 the night before, and then they'll be there till, like, we had somebody that stayed over on our team all day when they worked their full shift already. It's absolutely crazy to me. People are built different in this industry, and I'm not built like them. I like having me time. But yeah. Are you going live tonight, Kaito? It is wild. You like, I know the expression is like you become a man when X thing happens. Dude, it is, if you can do a 16. All right. Well, I hope it goes well for you. I'm ending stream here soon. That's why I'm asking. But 16-hour days are rough. I don't like doing it. If I have to do them, I will do them. Like, I'm physically capable of doing it, but I'll be just not all work and no play makes Savage a dull boy. Yeah. The next adventures would be more fascinating. Yeah, 14-hour days are not funny. Like, anything over 8 is just, in my opinion, just miserable. But the nice thing is like when you do like a 10-hour or 12-hour day and you get to work a regular shift, oh, it goes by so fast. It's so nice. But I also hate thinking of it that way because you're like wishing your life away. You're working you're like, when you want a day to go get over sooner, you're still wishing your life away regardless of how you're doing it. That's not a bad thing, though. It's really not. Like, I know for you, you know, you're looking at the perspective like, well, I don't have a job, I don't have work, but don't sit there and feel like you're missing out on not being able to have a shared experience with people that have worked long hours, because realistically, that's not the experience isn't the work. It's the fact that you were in a position where you needed to do that, right? Like, I shouldn't have ever had to work 2 jobs to afford everything that I had. The places I worked for should have been able to easily give me the money that I needed for just working 1 job, right? And that's one of the things about, you know, this industry of working in service and working in retail and working in these other industries is it's the thing that usually gets people in that line of work. And probably the reason why people can do so at General Motors is like the energy you have to expend at General Motors is way less mentally than like having to have the customer service voice on 24/7 or you gotta be, you know, almost an indentured servant to people that just have no sympathy for you, right? So where a long workday story can come in and be fun is when you're working in an industry or working with a group of people you enjoy being with, right? Like, there's stories that my dad will tell you about when he was starting out his construction business, of how there were days where they were just on the job site for 2 days straight because they had to get the work done, and they worked throughout like the whole night and stuff like that. You know, like, there's stories about that, but like the thing about that is, like, don't feel bad that you don't have that story, but just know that it's not normal to have these stories if everybody was treated fairly in their line of work, you know, or like paid proper wages and things like that. And that's something that bothers me with General Motors is, while I am near topped out, there are people that do the same work as me that don't get paid near as much as me because I only happen to be for the company. That really bothers me. Like, if we're doing the same type of work, we should be paid the same regardless of what my tenor is with the company, right? But either way. I think with that. Oh, I misread the T. The T emotion, little colon T. I always misread that. It is what it is. Everybody's got stories of being in something that they didn't want to be for too long. We all have moments like that, like travel trips or waiting in line or the elevator broke. Not that I have an elevator broke story. Well, I'm sure Holland will. Because isn't that the guy that like people are calling like the modern day Viking or whatever? Right? Is that the guy? Everything I know that's going on with the World Cup right now is like through secondhand exposure. I'll keep it $1.50. It's all just secondhand exposure at this point. But I do need to use the restroom, so I think I'm gonna get going. Yeah, he's a brick wall. He can run how fast? Bro, do not get in his way. Let me see here. I'm gonna read over what we got here real quick. Engine. This is gonna be ending chapter 2. So we'll probably finish. Well, I probably need like a paragraph or 2 to finish chapter 2, and then we'll be done with chapter 2. So, but this last page break, I'm gonna quickly go over. Park, got out, flew. I do like that that's a little bit of world building here. A little bit of character background here. He wasn't against gambling. All that aside, he knew that not everyone would treat him with the knowledge of his past life because he's being treated as he is now. I do wonder if this comes off as a bit preachy, but we'll probably go over that when we actually go through the whole thing. Yeah, I could imagine how freaking crazy his kick is. If he can move at 22 miles per hour, he probably has a kicking force of somewhere in like the hundreds, you know? Like people, baseball players can throw a baseball at like 120 miles per hour. I would not want to be on the receiving end of a kick of a ball from him. That's insane. Viking DNA, I suppose. But yeah. I know we started a little late today, but tomorrow, I do think we'll be streaming. Don't want to. Oh. Yeah, I think this is also good too, because we're doing the subtle hinting to the Bloodsmith being made from that vampire lord. He hit somebody in the face with the ball, and the ball got like squashed. Oh. Dang. Dude probably had like a black eye after that, or a broken nose. But yeah. I'm gonna go use the restroom. See that pick line. It is like flat face, flat ball, just together. That is amazing. Holy. That is so good. That is so good. He is a monster. He's a beast, a real life Halo Spartan. But yeah, I can't hold this back any longer. I gotta go. I gotta use the bathroom, and I do need to get some guab. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be. We'll be going live again tomorrow. I'm not sure the time, so just pay attention to the socials and the Discords. They'll let you know when I'm live. But yeah, I hope you all have a good night. I'm gonna go take care of some business, and we'll see you guys later. Hey, no problem. You still got here, Lime, and that's what matters. It was a pretty chill day anyway, so I do appreciate you being here. And everybody else, I hope you have a good night. See you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye. Da, 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 da.